through today with Superintendent Kelly Middleton. Superintendent, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Pat. Always good to see you. And it looks like you wore the same.
Right.
We didn't talk about our jackets before we had this talk.
Right. Well, if I dress like you, I know I'm in good shape. Superintendent, let's talk about, there was a news report last night on Cincinnati television that painted a pretty inaccurate picture of the school district. Talk about that a little bit.
Was there an article?
Yes, there was.
Okay. I heard a little bit about the Channel 12 news article, and we knew it was coming. We've been getting all these open records requests from Channel 12, and we figured it was coming, but it was totally a bogus video article. I'd be ashamed to honestly call that an investigative report, because they didn't do an investigation, because they didn't really talk to any of us before they did the article, or the news story. So it's totally inaccurate. We can go line by line. We don't have time in this video to go line by line, but we're going to go line by line in a written form to get out to everybody to show all the inaccuracies of that piece.
I know one part that troubled you is that the Newport schools were compared to a rural district across the river in southwest Ohio, the Blanchester, Ohio schools.
Yeah, you got to go to Blanchester, Ohio to compare Newport schools, and I've been to Blanchester. It's a good little city, a nice city. I was there not too long ago, and I think the median income there is almost $50,000, and it's rural poverty, and I would think anybody would know the difference between rural poverty and urban poverty. And I can go on and on with all the difference between Blanchester, Ohio, and Newport. But to compare those two school districts is kind of crazy. Pat, I was at the football homecoming this year, and almost half of the people that were in the what do you call the party you have at the homecoming parade, and about half of our students had one of our staff members walk them out on the field. That's urban poverty. We don't have family structure for the most part. Rural poverty, you have family structure. I taught in Round counties. I know the difference between rural and urban, and to compare urban with Newport with Blanchester, it's just silly. And I guarantee you, football homecoming in Blanchester, they had parents walk out with their child. It's just the difference, and it's what we deal with here. And people in Newport, we know this. It's funny, people on the outside don't seem to get it.
And some of this information apparently flowed to the media from a teacher who had been let go and who was disgruntled, and possibly some disgruntled parents as well.
Yeah, you had to go back, 3 years to find some disgruntled teacher? I probably could go into any school district this year and find a disgruntled teacher who's mad at the system. So you went back 3 years to find a teacher who no longer is teaching. She'd rather sell homes to teach kids, and gives a bad report. And I'm glad that person's not in our school system, quite frankly. So I can go. I don't have to be a very good investigative reporter to go to any school district in Kentucky and find one teacher who's mad about the school system. So, but I would encourage a reporter to go around the school and go into the classroom to talk to our current teachers, our good teachers, our good staff, which is almost every one of them, and see, they probably might get a different story than someone who didn't even choose teaching as a profession.
And also, there was an allegation of bullying, and we've talked about this before, Superintendent. Any allegation of bullying in this district, I know, is taken very seriously. It's looked into. Children, you've had students expelled for that, and really, bullying is not unique to Newport. It happens in every school district, urban, rural, suburban. But apparently, there's really no record of this. Apparently, we've looked, and there's no record of this parent ever making a complaint to the school.
Well, the principal calls me who watched the video. Miss Miller, I don't even know that parent. I've never even talked to that parent. So you're right. Bullying's got different, a little bit different. I think we all go back. We were probably picked on in school when maybe called bullying. We take it very serious. We've had a bullying hotline. We have a rule that if a parent calls about an issue with their child, that we try to get back in 24 hours. We have guidance counselors and those type things. So I think it's also very interesting that the parent whose child is bullied, the teacher who they interviewed also had that child. So okay, but I don't have to be a investigative reporter to know that too. So it's just bad. You pick out one. Anybody go pick out one parent who's mad at the school system, one teacher mad at the school system, and do a story on it. But they didn't do the other side of the story very well. But
and there was a lot of reporting about the audits, but from your staff's analysis and what you've seen in the audits, there was actually a lot of positive information in those audits.
Well, the positive, and I've been talking to some people, they should feel really good about the school audits, because the school audits at each one of the schools came back. They were very fair audits. we pretty well knew what we needed to work on, and we were already working on it. And they were favorable audits to each one of the schools. That's where the kids are, the schools.
Yeah.
But the ludicrous thing about the audit, and the audit people haven't heard the last of me yet on this one, but to say the district audit is bad, but the 3 schools under the district purview is good, is kind of ludicrous, kind of oxymoronic. I use that term with them. So we've uncovered some really bad things with the people who did the audit. And like I said, they hadn't heard the last of that, but the audit was real shabby. And I guess they come back to, on this audit, we got proof that we submitted 767 documents. I'll give one example. They only looked at 69 documents. See, they didn't really realize we had the way we could track who opened up our documents. So if we submitted 767 documents and they looked at less than 10%, like 9% of documents, the audit wasn't fair, wasn't good anyway. And the fact that all 3 of the schools received good audits, which we're over, and they're all new principals at these schools, shows that there was probably something working on that district audit that wasn't quite fair. And I don't mind saying is I was really told by a high-ranking KD official that we would receive another audit because of all these things that had happened, and then all of a sudden they changed their mind. So,
and what you're saying is the auditors were given some bad information by people who were formerly within the school district.
Well, I don't mind saying, and I'll say this too, I wouldn't be saying these things if I couldn't back it up. And what I do know, Pat, is that in the last year, during the testing, we had 6 major testing violations. And 6 people have already either been fired or demoted because of these violations.
All right, so you're taking proactive steps.
So we're taking it. We're hitting it. And honestly, I'm 55. I really should retire in Kentucky if you know the retirement rules. But I'm staying around to try to clean this up. And what we know is 6 people made major testing violations, have all been either fired or demoted. And what we also know is some of these very same 6 people really gave a bad audit report to the auditors. They were interviewed by the audit team. So what's really scary is that just a handful of people have controlled the audit, and they're the very same people who we know are calling the press. It's kind of funny that in this area it seems like that sometimes the criminals are the people who call the press. And I'm surprised sometimes the press listens the way they do without getting the full story. In this case, they don't have a story.
And you're going to continue to look at what the story reported, and also talk about some of the positive aspects of what you're doing, the improvement plans, how you've improved some of the positive test scores, including career readiness, which is a huge factor anymore in determining how kids are going to perform out in the world. And that's been very positive for Newport.
Well, you can look at the banners. KDE has honored our school district in several ways. And did we forget everything we knew in the last couple of years? You can look at the banners on the wall out there on our building. So our career ready scores are really good. We received a career ready honor by the state just last year. We received national awards for many of our programs. So that somehow didn't make it in the report. But anyway, so Pat, our internal people really know what's going on. And I think that's the thing we know. Our internal people know who called the media.
So watch social media, watch the press, watch information that's put up by the school. We're going to be talking about this.
Oh, it's coming. We got a lot more coming, and we're going to give out some bullet points about all the inaccuracies in that report. But and I need to do it for my staff, because that was really an attack, not on just me, but it's an attack on our total staff, our teachers who work very hard, who are dedicated to our kids. We're doing some great things, and I invite anybody to come by our schools, walk through our halls, and see, and then they'll know. The inside people know that that's a bogus report. It's the people maybe on the outside who might not get it.
All right, we'll be getting that information out there. Superintendent Kelly Middleton, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.